84 recap. What a bunch of fights. UFC 284, Makhachev and Volkanovski. I'm going to go over all of them. Some more than others. The first fight, I'll start with this. Elvis Brenner and Zubair Tsukagov, right? One of the worst decisions I have ever seen. This was just terrible. I don't know how the judges get this fight wrong. This wasn't that hard. It was 29-28. On MMA decisions, you could look at all the media scorecards. All of them had it for Zubaira, one way or the other, either 30-27 or 29-28. Two of the three Stooges had it for Brenner. Doesn't mean anything. Zuba won. Judges took his bonus money from him. Well, his win money from him. Just absolutely terrible. I mean, he missed weight like an unprofessional idiot, but still, you can't take his money away like that. He won the fight, and that was a terrible robbery decision. Blake Builder and Shane Young. I picked against Blake Builder, and he proved me wrong. He actually looked pretty good against Shane Young. Not too much to say about it. Shane Young, guess he isn't on UFC level, or I thought he was on the UFC, like on that UFC level. I guess he really isn't anymore. Blake Builder though looked pretty good. He's solid. I don't know, 8-0. He is 32. I don't know how far he will end up going in the division, but good performance from him. Beat Shane Young. Loma Wukbomi versus Elise Reed. Loma just made me look stupid because I said if she takes down Elise, she'll just ground and pound. But I said she's not really looking for submissions. But what does she look for? The submission. She finds it. I did say Loma was a pretty confident pick, though. Elise Reed struggles in the grappling. She had to look pretty good in the first round in some of the grappling aspects, but I don't know how she won the first. Like I said, the judges are idiots. I don't know how she won the first round. The first round was clearly Loma. She was landing all the damage, all the meaningful strikes, a lot of kicks from Loma. Elise Reed had a little bit of control time, but you never know with the judges. They all three of them gave round one to Reed. So, like I said, you never really know. Which is why sometimes you have to go for the finish in fights, like Zubaira and Brenner. Next is Jack Jenkins defeating Don Shanis, beat him by decision. I expect him to win earlier in the fight, like a second round TKO or something like that. Don did prove to be tough enough to last to the distance, to the final bell, but Jack Jenkins, this was pretty much all Jack Jenkins. Shanis did end up in top, on top for a little bit of, in some of the grappling exchanges, but for the most part on the feet, it was clear Jack Jenkins. He said in the post fight, like he wanted to kind of show he's a mixed martial artist, mix things up a little bit, um, prove he's not like a one trick pony. But I mean, that one trick was beating Don Chanis easily. Leg kicks are, I think what did the announcer say? He broke like three opponents' legs with leg kicks. Like that's like this dude. That's crazy to hear. Jamie Malarkey and Francisco Prado. Not too much to say about this. I mean, I picked Malarkey to win. Malarkey did get the win. Uh Prado did show, he didn't get finished. He showed toughness. I didn't know how tough he was. I didn't know if he was going to be able to survive. But Malarkey did play a little bit safe, reasonably so. Prado is pretty good. Prado is, he does have power, but as expected, Malarkey got the win. Prado still, what is he, 20 years old, so he will be probably back and better than ever in a few years. But right now, it's, Jamie Malarkey's in his prime. He's fought the UFC competition, so kind of expect him to get the win there. Next up, Clayton Rodriguez. This wasn't really too much of a fight, to be honest. Clayton Rodriguez, in a minute, just dusted Shannon Ross. Not much to talk about there. I did pick Clayton. I said before the fight, actually, when I was breaking down these guys, I said Clayton was probably just gonna, sometimes he plays it safe. He tries to just win a decision, point fight a little bit, or just land more shots in his opponent. But not in this one. Just went after Shannon, just destroyed him in a minute. So I guess he heard what I was saying, or heard what some people were saying, and took that to heart and just destroyed Shannon Ross. Great win by Clayton. Next fight, Joshua Koibal, Melsik Bagdasaryan. Man, tough one. Melsik was up ahead. In my opinion, he was ahead in the first round, ahead in the start of the second round. He slipped. Koibal, took his back when Melsik tried to get up, locked in rear naked choke, submitted him. It's just MMA for you. It's not kickboxing. Melsick is a very good kickboxer. He's winning in the kickboxing, in the stand up exchanges. But you got to be aware of what can happen if the fight hits the ground. And Bao was ready for his moment, jumped on it. So opportunistic, good win from Bao. Gotta respect it. Now right here, this was my dog of the night. Nobody was picking Modestas. Everyone was picking Tyson Pedro. Everyone said Tyson Pedro is going to run right through this guy, except for me. I'm the only one that picked Modestas. I said he would win a decision. He won a decision. Man, people were. He came back. This guy Modestas. He came back from his first run in the UFC. Loses to Khalil Roundtree, right? Now, that was the fight where Roundtree kicked him in the knee, blew out his knee, tore his ACL, and then he gets cut from the UFC after that, right? Gets cut, goes to recovers, goes to Cage Warriors, wins 2 fights, comes back in on 1 week notice to fight Tyson Pedro, a big favorite in his home country. Modestas goes in there and gets the win. He just wanted it more than Pedro, I think. Great win from Modestas, and just incredible story coming back from that kind of adversity. Now this was a weird one. Jimmy Crute and Alonzo Menifield. The fight ended in a draw. I think it was a pretty rightful draw. Alonzo Menifield dropped Jimmy Crute, I believe, twice. He was rocking Jimmy Crute every time he touched him. Jimmy Crute, oh man, he's just got to wrestle against Menifield, because that's really he can't stand with him because he was just getting cracked on the feet. But I think it was, the draw was like I said, the right call there. I think the judges did get that one right. Crute did, the third round, Menifield grabbed the cage, can't grab the cage, point deduction, and then he won the third round. I think the first two were Menifield, so the draw is the right decision in this one. I was hoping Crute would get it done, but, if there was no cage grab and point deduction, probably would have went the other way, so maybe a little lucky there for Crute. Justin Tafa, oh man, this was bad. This was absolutely terrible. I was defending Parker Porter. I said he was going to do better. I said he was going to at least show a decent performance. You know what I mean? And what does he do? Instead of trying to mix in the boxing and the wrestling, he just goes in there and just throws. He tries to trade with Pedro, with Tafa, and he gets knocked out clearly because Tafa has the power advantage. Porter, his game plan, his fight IQ is terrible. I thought he would actually do the same thing as he's done in previous fights, which is try to box in an intelligent way, but nope. All fight IQ goes out the window. I guess he just doesn't care. He just wants to get the Australian paycheck. So give him his money and cut him, because after that performance, you deserve to get cut. You lose in a minute. You fight like an idiot. You have a path to victory if you at least try. Even if you don't win, you at least have a path to victory if you can try to mix in wrestling, try to, stay at range with the boxing. And he just tries to brawl and gets knocked out. Absolutely terrible. I was the only one defending him. I'm not going to defend him after this. Terrible performance. Jack Della Maddalena. Now, that last performance by Porter was just god awful. This one by Maddalena was excellent. Jack Della Maddalena took him really. I think it was one punch that rocked Randy Brown. Had him dancing, like going backwards, going forward, like which way am I going? I'm falling this way, that way. But Jack Della Maddalena just landed the perfect shot. Brown was trying, like, that feeling like when you get off a roller coaster and your head's spinning and you're trying to walk forward and you're trying to stay upright. That was what it was looking like with Randy Brown. But Della also got a submission in that. He kind of like a club and sub type of deal, if that makes sense. And it was an impressive, very impressive performance by Maddalena. This guy's the real deal in the division. I think he's like a top 10 level. Man, I don't think anyone's been able to do that to Randy Brown, just destroy him like that. So, second submission win of the career of Jack Della Maddalena. Very, very impressive performance. Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett. Oh man, Yair Rodriguez. That was a crazy, crazy fight for the 2 rounds that it lasted. Josh Emmett, actually, he did land some shots on Yair. Did hurt Yair. Josh Emmett, everyone knows that overhand right. It's That overhand right is something that it's coming, but if he lands it, it's with power, it's fast, it's gonna hurt you. But Yair was just you could tell Yair was just a step ahead, the younger guy in his prime, always improving, just a better overall striker. Yair was picking apart Emmett. That body kick was really hurting Emmett. You could tell Emmett was hurt, and Yair threw a flying knee and landed it, kind of fell on his back, or I guess slipped, fell on his back, and he actually ended up submitting Josh Emmett with a triangle. So it was like, wow, just amazing striking performance, and even in the grappling, he showed he's very good as well. Yair Rodriguez. I don't. I'll get to the main event, and this is why I don't think Yair will be the real 145 champion, because Alexander Volkanovski is an absolute beast. Alexander Volkanovski is a beast. I think if he fights Yair, as good as Yair is, before this Makhachev fight, I said Yair might win against Volkanovski. I might pick him. After this Makhachev fight, Alexander Volkanovski I believe, will beat Yair Rodriguez. Alexander Volkanovski looked amazing in this fight. No, like I said, no one has ever made Islam Makhachev look human. Like, I mean, I know Martins back in the day knocked him out, but like no one has ever been able to like really make him look human like this. And Volkanovski almost beat him over 5 rounds. Incredible performance by Volkanovski. Makhachev, he had great moments as well. Makhachev was, he had some good. He controlled Volkanovski, had him in a body triangle. He had Makhachev had some great moments of his own. Even hurt Volkanovski. Volkanovski hurt Makhachev though. To end the fight in the fifth round, Volkanovski was just landing some great ground and pound on Makhachev. If there was a minute longer in that fight, Volkanovski might have actually won by ground and pound. Like he was really trying to win that fight. Makhachev just survived at the end. I think the decision was fair, 3-2 Makhachev, 48-47, but I want to see this fight again. And bold prediction, you could say it's bold prediction, but not after this. I think if they run it back, if they run this fight back, I think Volkanovski beats Makhachev. I really do. I think this guy, Alexander Volkanovski, I doubted him a little bit in this fight. I thought Islam would submit him, but after watching that, I think Volkanovski in a rematch could actually beat Islam. I really do. His grappling, his wrestling is just on that level as well. And his striking, I feel like if he knows he can stop the takedowns, he might be able to win. He's going to be able to win in the striking. So excellent main event. Would love to see the rematch. That is just a quick, I guess, UFC 284 recap. I went 8-4-1 on the card, the one draw. I should have had 9-3-1. That Zuba fight was a robbery, but it is what it is. 8-4-1, not too bad, not too shabby. And yeah, UFC 284. I'll see you guys in the next one.